everyone, it's Tom here, back with another episode of Battle Rap Resume. Today we are going to not only be doing the Premier Battles Apex 2 recap, which was a fantastic event, and I urge you, if you're listening to this and it ain't on YouTube, you can get it there on demand, pay-per-view, go support the company. The way I feel about that, the way I was thinking about it just when I was buying it the other day, I was like, well, if they were doing events, I would have given them hundreds of pounds just via travel and, expenses and whatever, just the joy of being there. So it's the least you can do, really, as a fan to help out at this time. But also, we're going to be speaking to, one of the newer voices on the scene, at least to me. And, it's weird, the fact that I don't know, this kind of old guard of UKBR and this kind of this new tier coming through. It's exciting, this new class. And, today I'm joined by someone who, vlogs relentlessly. She has her own platform. She guests on many others. Her and a good friend of the show, D.I. the Henny Man. I'm excited to get into that. They have a show together as well over on Caffeine. London Jennn. Jennn, how's it going?
Hey Tom, how you doing? I am so excited to be here.
No, thank you. For I appreciate it. I think you said you listened to a few of the old episodes, so cheers.
Yeah, quite a few. And especially if I'm doing any interview, you can guarantee I've watched the Battle Rap resume interview and sat there shitting myself, thinking, how the hell am I gonna do an interview after listening to this?
My chat with Luigiano is legendary, as you mentioned, so I'm sure a lot of people will seek that out. But no, thanks. I would always do the same as well. It's funny you mentioned that. I still do, but definitely when I was starting off, I would watch the what was it? The unbiased review. What was the Untold Truth, right?
Untold Truth. Yeah.
Respect to Swave, love Swave. I pretty much copied that episode in terms of my structure. I just asking about battles that I heard him talk about, but respect. But just before we get through all the battles and all that stuff, as I say, your own Untold Truth, as it were, your beginnings. I guess let's just start with rap, hip hop music. Was that, because obviously that's the predecessor for most people. Was that something? Who were you into basically? Who were your first kind of great loves? And
I guess sort of my first loves was sort of jungle and garage music. That was, or I guess, home. I had home influences. My mum, dad, very jazzy, soul-y, reggae, soca. That was sort of from home, and then it was quite a natural progression, being a London kid, to get into jungle and garage and dance hall. And then sort of in the late 90s, in my teens, very much into the R&B. Not really a big hip hop fan at that time. It was more sort of as I got into my 20s, met my partner. He is from the States and listened to hip hop non-stop, and it was like, okay, this is my life now. And it was I'd always liked hip hop, but I'd never sort of been into it to that great extent. And it was once I started tapping in and really paying attention to more than just the beat and music videos, actually listening to what these rappers were saying and what they were doing with words, it was like, no, okay, I'm here to stay. This is me now. Yeah. And quite happy to be here.
And what about battle rap then? How did that creep in?
So battle rap came because I was listening to freestyles while I was working. I'm a polisher, and I sit on a bench grinder all day and have earphones in all day. Okay. So I was listening to, I think I'd had on a Funk Flex freestyle playlist or something, found King Los. He blew my mind. I think it was the first time I'd come across him, really, and happened to have there was the Chiller versus JC battle in the sidebar of one of the. Oh my god! Yeah, and
still one of my favourites, I'd actually say. I think they called it the best battle ever 8 years ago. It's kind of still true, low key,
It's incredible, and it was the first time. I mean, I'm sure I was vaguely aware of things like Smack DVDs and stuff, but not so much. And I knew battling was a thing, and that was, how you sort of earned your stripes as a rapper, you went on a street corner and you battled, and even like I say, coming up, I was very familiar with like the clashing that we have over here, and you know, all my friends used to clash, and they'd come with their lyrics and whatnot. But yeah, seeing that format, I was just like, what the hell is this? And I didn't know if it was a one-off. I didn't know
Yeah.
if this was a thing. I didn't know if, I had no idea of what it was. So I just went on a rabbit hole that I guess I'm still on.
Yeah, oh my god,
It
that
hasn't really stopped.
initial like, yeah, I've just checked this guy's back catalog. Let me check this, or there's a 2-on-2, and this suddenly you discover, I don't know, innuendo or whatever, you know, and it just goes from there. But yeah, that is crazy. So I mean, a long time. You've been a long time fan then. I
Well,
take it.
no. So
This was
I
recent.
say JC Chiller was the first. That
Mm.
was only, it was little over 2 years ago.
Good lord, wow,
Probably sort of like the summer of, where are we, 2020? So
yeah,
summer of some early 2000, early summer of 2018. That's unnecessarily specific, but I
damn,
think
the
it was
summer of
around that
2018,
time.
that golden summer of battle rap, like beautiful.
Yeah, it was around then, and I try and explain this. Everyone who sort of is in battle rap seems to have been here forever, like from its inception, or at least sort of 7, 8 years, and coming into it blind without knowing anyone else who was into it either. I had no one to say, tell me about this, or what does
Yeah,
that mean, or who does. So it was literally sort of, I think Charlie Clips was the first um, battle rapper that I went and then watched all of his battles, and then I think I did the same with Goods, and then maybe it was Tay Rock or
mm.
something. But even just finding out, oh, okay, this is what the URL is. Oh, okay, these are all from Summer Madness, and Summer Madness is a
Yes,
big
and the
event that
pieces.
happened.
You're
Like
right,
putting it,
and. Mhm.
yeah, putting it all into context took a
It's
long
so hard.
time.
Yeah, there isn't really an almanac. You're right. You just sort of have to pick. Like, it's not impossible to follow. Obviously, it's just battles, and you realise certain ones took place in certain times. But you're right. There isn't really a starter kit, isn't it? I think that's what endears it as, you know, a fandom. Really, we're quite rabid about piecing this thing together and just kind of appreciating the tapestry.
Exactly that. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly that. And it's sort of like in when even now I still have moments where I'll listen to a battle and I'm like, oh shit, that's that reference. That's
Yeah,
where that
that's
comes
trick.
from. That's
Yeah, yeah.
dope. Like
Yeah, I've had
I
so many of those.
yeah, it is such a sort of a universe that you really
Oh.
do. How did you just describe it? You described it so
Yeah,
well.
it's like it is like a tapestry because it's just so hard to, like, you know, I've been watching it since 2012, so again, early-ish, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. And there's a lot of things I remember, there's a lot of things I forgot as well that maybe I used to know.
I
But
don't
it's
believe that.
it's no, there's one soul battle that maybe I misplaced. No, I'm joking. It couldn't be a soul battle, but yeah, there is so much, and we know so much, and it's like, you know, I don't know. Like, I have a passing interest in football, but I have friends who are fanatical about it. You know, who can name all teams and stuff like that. And I mean, the bank of, I don't want to say useless knowledge we have, Jen, but the bank of knowledge you get through battle rap, you just learn so much needless stuff.
Well, I'm trying to build up my knowledge bank, and I'm very aware of all the gaps that I have.
Hmm.
And but one of the reasons why I love listening to anything that you do is because of the amount of knowledge, not just of events, battles, battlers, like the trivia that you know, and not even, I don't want to trivialize it by calling it trivia,
Right.
like because the richness that you add to the stuff that I already know by throwing in things like, this battle didn't take place because so and so's cat was sick and the vet died. And it's like, how
Right.
do you
Yeah.
know this
I
stuff?
think that was
Whenever I
definition.
mention,
Yeah, that's crazy.
whenever I
Yeah.
mention Tom to anyone, they say he just knows things. Like he knows things that he just has no business knowing. How does he know this stuff?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
are a battle rap
Maybe I should write it.
database.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thank you, but I mean, you know, I have. There are people in the scene that I definitely just like admire, like France, for example, of Let's Talk Battle Rap. Like, he has just an unbelievable kind of repertoire of references, and you know, he's an awesome broadcaster. Like, getting into media then in general, like, was that something that concurrently was happening as you were getting into the battles? Were you discovering, like, I don't know, Angry Fan, or, you know, those kind of tempoles?
Well, yeah, it took me a minute to find the blogs. I think I found Champion first, and then very shortly after that, Battle Rap Trap, and then sort of the other big ones, or
Mm,
I found, and that was how I sort of managed to keep up to date with what was happening as it was happening. So sort of staying current, because when I first got into it and for quite some time, I was just sort of going from one battle to another and really didn't know what was happening. What's the word? Contemporaneously. Like I had no
Yeah.
clue of what, to the point where I think Summer Madness 8, I didn't even realize, oh damn, this is actually
Oh
here
man.
in London. It was about 2 weeks before it happened that I realized, oh
Yeah.
gosh,
And did you go?
I
I was
didn't
there,
go.
yeah. I mean, check old Battle Rap resumes, but that was just. You know what's crazy? It is actually still a legendary Smack event, regardless of being in the UK or not. It was a fantastic set of battles.
Yeah, no, when I watched the event back, it was I think it was shortly after that I decided, there were lots of things happening in my life at the same time, but I decided, you know what, if I'm in this thing and I enjoy it and I don't know anyone else, then I've just got to go to these I've got to go to these places. I've got to pull up. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
if I don't, it's I need to go and just meet people. If this is where they are and I don't know anyone, I've got to go where the people are and go and meet them. And my first battle actually was, or my first event was Apex. Apex, yeah, the
Ah,
first
yes, yeah,
Apex.
the old yeah, shy return, yeah,
Yeah, so this time last year,
yeah, it was, yeah, yeah, roundabout
which
that.
was, for I guess my first battle here in the UK, not really knowing much about UK battle rap as well, because that was another thing. It took me a long time to even realize, oh, we do this over here as
Yeah,
well.
we're bloody good at it. Yeah, well, some are,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. No,
Uh,
it took a while.
oh man, there's so. Oh yeah, and then it's like I was a bit like that. I started on UK, got into US, and it's like, oh, there's a whole Canadian scene, like which is all like ties into everything else as well. Like it's just,
Yeah,
oh my god, it is.
and
It's
that's one of the things that makes it sort of so much, and one of the reasons I almost didn't get into media or didn't get in after sort of being in it another 2 years, because it's just so, like, especially here in the UK. So you've got the URL, you've got RBE, you've got King of the Dot, you've got all smaller leagues as well. You've got the UK leagues. It's a lot
mm,
to sort of, you know, pay attention to. But that was the thing. I made one or two friends in battle rap. One of them I met on Tinder, and
mm.
we had a battle actually, and he's now one of my very good friends and
Oh,
a big supporter of what I do. But he why did I say that? Sorry, I was so distracted there
yeah, no.
thinking
So,
about that video battle.
that should be like a little niche of dating apps that you can call on Hinge, you can battle on Tinder. I don't know, but yeah, you saying you were getting into it, and the media as a whole in the UK scene.
Yeah, that was it. It was sort of it, knowing that I knew so little or had so much to learn almost stopped me from getting into media. But it was
Yes.
I knew so much that was going on that I was sort of feeding it to my friends, and they were like, "How do you know this?" And I'm like, "Well, how do you not know? Everybody knows this." And they're like, "No, everybody doesn't know this." But it's just because I was consuming so much that I was watching everything, every event I was watching, all the blogs I was watching, the recaps, the previews, the
Yeah,
whatever
the face-offs, the
interviews.
fucking yeah, the hip
Yeah,
hop is real, like just background, like yeah. Oh my
exactly,
god,
all
there's
of
so
that. So I
much.
knew all the little ins and outs and stuff. So and I've always wanted to do some sort of talking to the public type thing. I've wanted to do some sort of podcast or show or something for so many years, but I overthink and procrastinate about everything, and I'm quite a pussy when it comes to speaking in public and saying stupid things. So it took me a long while to sort of get comfortable with the idea of doing that, and then even longer to sort of decide where to go. And I thought battle rap would be a fun way of doing it. And it was just something I felt I had to contribute to. Like I loved it so much and I was so passionate about it. I didn't just want to consume it. I wanted to contribute to it. I wanted to add something. And I didn't quite know how, with my limited knowledge, I could add any value. And I didn't just want to do something for the sake of it. I wanted to, be something that was worth watching. So I thought I'll I'll do a news show. I'll do a sort of a pulling together of everything that's happened in the last week in one place. This is what's happening. And for people who are like me, who are sort of pretty new fans and you don't necessarily know what's going on all the time, or you're someone who doesn't tap into every blog and you don't know who had that amazing interview on, 15
Yeah.
minutes of fame that you got to check out. So I thought I'm going to do that, and I really wanted to add in production values as well. So I wanted lots of clips and all of that. And it was lockdown. My business had gone to shit. I had no work. I had nothing to do with my time. All my excuses as to why I couldn't do this thing had run out. It was like, no, now you've got the time. Start and, just do it. And that first one really was the most difficult. I like to be super prepared and planned for everything. And I had all these notes and I had a very clear vision of what exactly I wanted to do and achieve, and turned on the camera and it was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh yeah. There's that totally. It's like when you battle. It's like, when the lights go down and suddenly reality just creeps in. But fair to say you've been very consistent with it, and climbed steadily up the ranks in it. Like when I saw you and Henny doing a show together. What's the show called again? Sorry.
What we talking about?
What we talking
Wednesdays
about?
with Jennny
I was shocked. I'm a huge Henny. He's been on the show. We had a great episode. Like everything he does over at the Trap and all the sort of very progressive behind the scenes footage that he had as well were brilliant. How did that happen? Because it's just I don't know. Because it's like this kind of. I'm not. No offense, he's not a legend, but he's kind of a legend. Like kind of socially, he's kind of a bit. But like he's a legend to me. I'm not saying he's a battle rap legend, but like he is actually a legendary dude. And like very well known, very well liked. Until recently, he was working with the UR regularly and was brilliant on that as well. How did this happen? Like it would just I don't know. It'd be like Tay-Rock teaming up with me or something. Like
Yeah, no, you say
which would be great.
You were
but
shocked. I was shocked. I sort of ran around my living room, I think, when Henny asked me, literally did that sort of movie thing, because I just couldn't believe it. Because
screeching.
Henny still is working with the URL. He's going to be doing the Ultimate Madness 3 and the Crucible hosting coming up.
Oh, nice. Oh, good. I was misinformed then. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, no, I think because it hasn't, that there's no promo for it.
Yeah.
He, not a lot of people necessarily know that. But yeah, it was as well at the height of, I think he was hosting or just finished hosting Ultimate Madness. He was on caffeine every week. And yeah, so a lot of people were like, what the hell is it? How? What? Why?
Yeah.
But like I say, one of the first platforms that one of the first blogging or media, battle rap media platforms that I found was Battle Rap Trap, and I love that vibe over there. I sound like this. I'm very British. That was one of the reasons for the new show as well. I thought I could ham that up, play on it. But I'm a smoking, drinking, like shit talker. Like that's what I do. Like that's my vibe. Like that's where I'm in my element with a group of people, just laughing and joking, talking about battles and having fun. But also, like you said, Henny's a legend, and he's got so much knowledge in this, and like they're folk like I just fucked with the Trap, and I would comment and stuff, and I bought some merch, and me and Henny had a few messages. We'd spoken a few times. Like we were cool, but not not super cool. We were cool and cool on social media, and I had quite a few interactions, but nothing nothing major. I was really proud of what he was doing. I told him that I'd put him in my show, so there was some. So yeah, it was a bit out of the blue for me as well. But he was working on these. He wanted to do 3 caffeine shows, and he wanted one with somebody who people would want to listen to. It's this cheat code, or some of my friends call it a cheat code. My guy friends, they say it's this British accent thing when you're dealing with a mainly, or a very large American audience, and especially with Henny, his audience is largely American,
Defo, DMV.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was, it's the cheat code thing. It was my voice, and because we're cool, we have a rapport. Henny knows I'm working over here. I'm learning my shit. I know what I know, and I'm working on the rest. And it was just one of those. Let's see if this works, and I think it really has been working.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you speaking to Danny Myers recently. Fonz, like you're out on the front line. Like it's dope.
Yeah, it is, and it's daunting, but it really is. It's really improved my confidence. I've said some really stupid stuff live. I realized I said something really dumb the other day as well. I said if Saint beats Diz, this is after
Yeah.
Saint beat Diz, does that put him in Trap of the Year contention or something? And
Sure.
afterwards, I think I was scrolling through something and saw, Marv One versus Satan. It was like, oh my God, you said Diz the other day. You
Oh, I mean,
like
look, come on. Like,
think
I
things
forgot that
like
soul
that.
battle, so yeah, no, it's we all have our moments, but like, what? So I want to urge people to go check out all your material. Where's the best place for them to find it? I mean, the Henny show's on Caffeine, right? But it's not
Yeah.
stored, is it? It's just like live streamed.
So yeah, that's live streamed on Caffeine on Battle Rap Trap on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And it's also then rebroadcast, or not rebroadcast, but it's uploaded sometimes in bits, sometimes the whole show on Battle Rap Trap on YouTube. And my stuff is all on my YouTube channel, which is London Jennn, all one word, three N's on the Jennn. And that's my socials as well. You can find me on all platforms. London Jennn, all one word, three N's on the Jennn.
All right, all right. So, yes, guys, we'll find all the links down below as well. So now we're going to look to myself and Jen to Apex 2, which
Yes.
just went down. I just saw the pay-per-view over the last few days. I've made quite a lot of notes. This is not the last time, I should say, that I'll be covering this as well. In the next couple of days, me and Shovel T are going to go on Black Compass. So if anyone's familiar with Black Compass, in my opinion, the best battle rap podcast of all time. I've been on there many times. They've Tone Bro and the guys have reciprocated as well. But yeah, no, these battles are really interesting. So it's fun to take different takes at them, as it were. And am I right in thinking the first battle was Celeste versus Jester Black, right?
It was, yes.
Which for me was my first time seeing either of these guys. Like, I don't really follow like the lower tiers. I mean, it's no offense to them, but I don't really watch that sort of stuff. And I know it's coming out a lot of it online on the Academy paywall and stuff like that. But this was the final, and I felt Celeste took it cleanly and professionally and encouragingly. And unfortunately, you can't just math Hoffer a second round, can you? Like Jester does in the final. He basically spits nothing, and I think that just handicapped him.
Yeah, completely. And you could see it totally threw his composure for the third as well. He didn't seem the most composed in the first place, but the first round was a lot, cleaner and sharper. And yeah, you've got to find a way to pull it back and get through. I think he said in the interview afterwards that he'd flipped a few words around, and it was the sort of frustration in knowing that he'd messed up. He just couldn't carry on. The perfectionist in him wouldn't allow him to sort of carry on, and he just sort of froze. But yeah, you've got to, I guess this is why you have, matches like this, so you can learn those things and get over them. But I thought Celeste was very, very good.
Yeah,
I've watched a bit of the both of them because
you
I've got a new
interviewed them, right?
series.
Yeah,
Yeah, for my new class
yeah. Go
series.
check that out. So you do like half-hour video interviews of both of them, don't you?
Yeah.
Go.
So sort of getting to know them, getting a bit about their personality, where they've come from, why they're battling, what they want to do down the line. Yeah, just sort of getting to know them really. And yeah, watching a bit of their stuff. I think this was definitely probably the best Celeste I've seen. I really liked his aggression. I think in that first round yeah, it was unfortunate for Jester, but I think he's so much better than that performance,
Yeah,
and
okay.
it will have taught him a lot. And often the lessons are in the losses, I like to say, because when you win, it's easy to be complacent or to not take a lot from it. When you lose, ideally, that's when you go and fix some shit and come back even better. I think he said, actually, I feel sorry for my next opponent.
I mean, classic battle rap line. That you always hear that cliche tried out, and yeah, maybe. I mean, I know he had a
But
long way to travel,
yeah,
Jester. But I did find his material kind of weird, and I think Celeste kind of really dissected it well. It was just kind of free association, kind of wishy-washy, quite flimsy, whereas Celeste was very steadfast. And I much more appreciate him. He had a kind of, cheekiness to him as well. And I definitely want to check out more of his stuff. I thought he was good here. People are saying, we are live streaming this, by the way. People are saying that apparently this wasn't the first battle. So, I mean, neither of us were there. So we're just guessing from the pay-per-view. Yeah. But we are live streaming it. Shout out to everyone listening as well. If you've got any questions or any opinions on the battles themselves, let us know. But yeah, what I was just saying before, where Celeste was kind of demonstrating, what was it, Gyozi or House or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
that was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
That was brilliant. The catchy Katsu slipping. That was I really like when battlers can imitate their opponent well. I hate it. It's cringy to me when they do it badly.
Mata does it badly.
Spot on.
Mata versus Unan later kind of has the same mechanics as it. Here's how I do your punchline, and here's which I mean we'll get to that. But sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy when a battle rapper can, because it's more than just sort of imitating their voice. It's the mannerisms, it's the inflection, it's their body language, it's all of that. And I think he did it really, really well. And he didn't overdo it either. It was just a nice sort of short piece. And then I think it has the effect when you do it well. It just sort of, you look at them, when they come to spit the next round, you look at them a little differently because your opponent has just so successfully, poked holes in your style.
Yeah, it's something Gemini in particular is so good at doing. It's something like when I wanted to butcher a Tox line there, but I couldn't even quite remember it. But go back and watch that battle. But yeah, just before we move on as well, Visceral saying the best bit was Celeste's impression of Jester. Celeste Jester, which I completely agree with. Bizzo versus Sam Hoyts was 100% first, says Rick Charles. Yes, we'll get to that. Joe says Celeste has a lot of potential, especially going into the Anarchy tournament coming up. So yeah, that's cool, isn't it? So Raptor's retired again, apparently. I'm sure he'll be back soon. So Celeste gets his position in the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is, I like that. I like putting in that new blood. That's, we didn't, I don't know, maybe some of Premier Battle's talents in the past weren't nurtured. I don't want to say weren't nurtured as well, but I think just putting them up against good competition, seeing Celeste versus, I don't know, Quill or something, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely. And it really, like you said, throws him into the fire, throws him in at the deep end and lets him sort of cut his teeth this way. Although I'm sure he said his first battle, actually, he turned up on the day, the opponent was a no-show, and he'd had like 2 no-shows before or something, so he got the opportunity to have Bobby Rex freestyle scream at him for 3 rounds or something.
Right. Wow, what a prize. So the next battle is Bizzo versus Sam Hypes. Now, in fact, just before we get to this battle, Jen, what did you think of the surroundings, the look of the pay-per-view?
I really liked it. It looked really slick. I loved the what are they? The lightsaber looking.
Yeah, I thought lightsaber as well. Yeah, so basically it's just like a sparse room, isn't it, with 2 sort of just kind of light bars. Yeah, like you say, just on a brick wall. It's very Spartan.
Yeah. But I think it's very hard to sort of, especially if you're not going to have, because of social distancing, you can't show a close knit crowd. And you don't really want to show sort of 4 people standing randomly. I think it was really hard, and they did it really well. I liked the whole thing just looked really slick. The whole stream as well. There was no problems with the stream. It all went really smooth. I loved the interviews, the Shotty and I think the beginning talk was, I like the whole thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, can you just comment on that? So I missed that because I didn't watch this at the normal time, but from what I gather, they did kind of an actual stream package with like commentary and stuff like that, as you're saying, and interviews.
Yeah, they did, and you can actually, so the pay-per-view has the battles individually, but the first thing is the entire stream as it was played live, and there's a lot in there. Yeah, there was so I think Briggsy and Shotty start off the event just sort of talking about what's to come, talking a bit, can't remember what else they talk about, but it was some really interesting stuff. And then after each battle, they do a little recap with the battlers, talk about how they felt about it, who they've got coming next, the scene in general. Just really interesting stuff and entertaining. God, so entertaining.
No, definitely those guys are great at that. And you know, your boy here used to do a little bit of PB commentary until it all went sour. But check out the old BRRs about that. So no, I love the guys. I do love the guys, and they actually gave me a shout out on Instagram, which was very appreciated as well for all the people that had helped them get to that point. So again, guys, buy this pay-per-view because there are battles such as Bizzo versus Sam Hypes. First thing I noticed about this, Bizzo's wearing one of those classic shirts that will break down letters in stratified lines. So it's not Bizzo Bond. I just thought it was a funny set of letters. Bizzo Bond, like just the way it looks.
Oh, it was the 3 rows, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just kind of,
I noticed that as well.
Quite humorous, the constituent parts. I had Sam Hypes here. I do like Bizzo for the most part. I think... I respect his guile and how consistent he is with it and how much he seems to enjoy it and the way he puts things together. And I think certain battles like, the Craze battle and especially the Sleepy G battle, I thought was terrific. I think his writing can be very clever. This is a little bland, though. I thought Sam kind of cut through. I just preferred Sam Hypes.
Yeah, watching it again today, I don't think I changed my mind, but it gets closer and closer. I liked Sam's style. I guess I liked the sort of the constant punching. He had some really nice setups. I liked his aggression, but I don't know. Bizzo just edged it for me. There was a little more maybe complexity, and I think I fucked with his material just a little bit more. But there was some stuff in there that I didn't like as well. I judged this one for Premier Battles, and I did say that as well. I said the stuff that I didn't really like, I thought was not particularly strong. And yeah, it was a really close one. I think a lot of 2 or 3 of these for me were really close. And this was one of them. Well, no, 2 of them were really close, definitely. It was really entertaining, like a really enjoyable watch. It was sort of like, lots of memorable punchlines. I really liked the hotel, you're a boring hotel manager who dances on TikTok from Sam.
Yeah.
I really liked that. I guess Bizzo is known for, I haven't watched that much of Bizzo. I know he's known for sort of, or I hear he's known for football scheming, but I liked the way that was sort of consistent throughout. For me, it fit. I like themes and patterns and sort of cohesion. Maybe I changed my mind with that over time.
Yeah,
but I thought it was...
I don't know. Some of Bizzo's punches just didn't quite stick to me. Can't read music, but you can at least face it. I don't know, that wasn't grounded enough for me. Decent projection, though. I just preferred I'm not saying this battle was like an incredible contest, personally. I mean, shout out to the guys, of course, but I don't know. I did find myself sort of drumming my fingers a little bit. I thought Hypes was just a bit, Tone Bro's quite a fan of his, actually. He's watched this pay-per-view as well. And I quite liked his third, actually, was flipping the idea of the online tournament. And he'd like $750 for 5 minutes work and stuff like that. And he did Bond flips as well. I mean, of course, very difficult to pull off. Some of them were actually pretty good. He said something like he's so wet he doesn't walk, he hydroplanes or something like that, which I thought was excellent. But yeah, I mean, just I don't know, some of Bizzo's stuff like the Anne Frank stuff in the third, I just didn't really see the sort of the levels particularly to that one, and he kind of misrepresented Schrodinger's cat, which always bothers me. Schrodinger's cat, you won't even know if you died when I put you in a box. Like that doesn't really even make you won't even know you've been killed. I suppose it could have happened out of nowhere, but I don't know. The idea is that no one can open the box and see if you're dead or not.
Yeah,
like
you're right in that. I guess so. Yeah.
But again, I'm pointing very needless holes. Well, that's the BRR way. But it does peter out. I suppose one of the things I can't complain about, Jen, is 3 clean rounds from both of them. Highly practiced, brilliantly delivered. Like
flawless. Yeah.
But,
I agree, and I did have some picky things myself. I think I'd said again, it was a Bizzo one. The to be with Sam is like being trans. Everywhere you go, you drag your missus. It doesn't, to me, like I sat with that a few times and thought and broke it down different ways, and no, it doesn't work. It's not. First of all,
There's
okay,
so
so
many
that's
bars
not what
though.
being
To be
trans
fair,
is. But to
to
be with
Bizzo.
Sam is like being trans. Okay, so if you're trans, you drag your missus everywhere you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's that double meaning that eludes so many battlers, and it kind of makes a good bar into a great bar. But what was the next battle? Sorry, what was the next one there? Was
The
it
next
iKid?
one, what was that? Was that iKid
iKid and Deviant,
versus
right?
Deviant?
So just before we jump into that one, Joe Downey agreeing with what we're saying about the setting, saying it was better than the volume setting even. Certainly better than the volume 6 setup as well, says 10 Riddle. Joe Downey says apparently on the commentary you can see Maverick calling out Jennn and Celeste calling out Red Flag. A lot of nice tidbits. Quill versus Shocks, of course, is being added tomorrow as well, so extra impetus to get that pay-per-view. And in terms of the battle we just covered, older Bizzo Bond and Sam Hypes, Visceral says they were very evenly matched, in my opinion. And Joe Downey agrees, says they seem very similar. A decent opener match. And, it was decent, definitely. And, it set the tone well, because there are going to be a few flubs here and there. I mean, we discussed Jester before as well. But let's talk about iKid versus Deviant. Where would you rank this battle? If you had to rank the entire event, where would you put this battle?
Oh, it would probably
There's 6 to choose from now. So would it be the
rank.
6th? Would it be third? I mean,
It,
where are
it
you going
would
to put it?
probably be. It would probably be fifth or sixth.
Okay.
Fifth or sixth. Just because for me, I really didn't take to Deviant's performance. It wasn't clean. This battle was very choppy. There were chokes.
There were repeat. Like I think iKid repeats the first, like literally his first couple of bars, and then there are Deviant as well has quite a long pause, and it was a bit.
It was sloppy, and I didn't like Deviant threw away his whole round to give it to the people for the shitty year we've had. Like, thanks, but it's a battle.
Yeah.
Fight your opponent. I judged this one as well, and I'd said it felt like a spoken word piece. And like I can understand the sentiment and why people do this. But like, what is isn't there a tagline where winning matters? Probably a battle where winning matters.
Yes.
Don't come with a spoken word piece in a battle where winning matters. I think Briggsy had said in his commentary or his judging, he judged this as well, and he said, upload, send. You want to do something like that? Really appreciate the sentiment. Film it, send it to us. We'll pop it on the platform as a spoken word piece, because that's the way it came across to me.
Yeah.
But also on top of that, I didn't think he had the strongest material, and his delivery was struggling with delivery. It sounded recited at parts. I guess both of them at times sounded like they were, trying to not forget their material, and that's how it came out.
Yeah. I do think iKid clearly won. And
Definitely.
I do agree that the third was bad. In fact, in the comments, Joe Downey said, I appreciate that Deviant was trying to do a B.Oops-esque round. However, it came across like one of those NatWest adverts, which is, I mean, it kind of hit the nail on the head there. And I guess with Deviant, it's weird because he's loud, he's battled a lot, like there's no kind of issue in projection or presentation. There just aren't really any bars there. Like, there's kind of nothing actually making it worthwhile, like, to engage with as a battle rap fan. It's like, he's just like, you're offensive to Loxy, you clowned this, you said this, are you serious, dude? But there's no bow on the top,
Yeah, no. But yeah, and going back, I don't want to harp on the delivery thing, but there's definitely, I don't know, it's not projection, I don't know if it's enunciation, there's something different, or maybe it's
something
I don't know.
unplaceable. Like, I don't know what it
but
is.
there's something there which just, doesn't make it easy for the ear.
No, but
yeah, I really
sorry,
did-
yeah, go on, sorry. I've got so much to say about Deviant. I just can't contain myself.
Go on.
No, it's just again, the second is a bit difficult for him as well, but he takes the gap. it's always a interesting thing, isn't it, when a battler chokes and they're like a couple of bars in and then they get it back, but they go from the beginning and you're about to get to that point where it breaks and you're like, is he going to make the leap? And, he does go there. But iKid, like I say, iKid just... Okay, it wasn't that focused particularly on his opponent, but iKid is just naturally a real, charismatic, interesting battler. His personality kind of wins through there. And just certain bars, like the Amsterdam bar people talk about.
Crazy.
Only time jazz is going up is elevator music, which I thought was fucking great. Yeah. And, decent Forrest Whitaker bar as well.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, but I will say, I appreciate you probably haven't seen this battle because it's like just an obscure as fuck battle. I don't know why. So some PG from years ago. Kid Clutch, I think, who still kind of battles in the West. I gather. I don't really know anymore. Maybe he's on the app, but he had a Forrest Whitaker bar. He was like, what was it? Because he's talking about their intelligence, and he was like, as far as wit occur, we don't see eye to eye, or something like that. And it's like such a reach, but it's like kind of fire. It's like Anyway, back to iKid. Opponents never seem to die like a Rothschild was crazy as well. Really like that. I just thought, okay, against someone more practiced, iKid probably wouldn't have won, but he was better than Deviant on the day.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I really liked some of his material. Like you said, you pulled out a few lines in there. He had the travel for a body. What was that? Travel for a body like a chick with a BBL. I like that one. I think I've given this 2-1. I didn't give iKid the first, even though his material was better because it wasn't clean. He deserved every round, I guess, but it was just too choppy for me too. And because Deviant was clean, I think that was the only clean round he had. I did give him that first, but iKid's material was clearly better all 3 rounds.
Yeah, it had more highlights, certainly, even if the whole kind of thing wasn't particularly well sewn. Apparently in the chat they're saying they had months to prep for, but iKid started writing, the Wiretap, listen, shout out to the Wiretap, iKid started writing on Monday to battle on Saturday. I hate when he leaves it that late. He's my brother, but could have really oversmoked Deviant. I mean, that is true. And kind of, on quick prep, it kind of was what it was. Deviant's tone is off, says Tone Riddle, makes it very boring to listen to. So, yeah, I mean, Deviant, sorry, it sounds like we're just attacking this episode, but this is just our opinions, man. Go by the pay-per-view. So the next battle, Jen, what are we talking about now? Is this Raptor Rivers or? I think it might be. I mean, we'll say it was. We'll say it was. Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, before we get into the battle, I will say this really did live up to the hype. I thought this was excellent.
This was incredible. It was like watching a therapy session live between 2 brothers or something. It was, I think Shotty said in the post-fight interview, it was like a conversation that rhymed. And that is my favourite rapping, when it doesn't sound like you're bending, moving, shifting things, round pegs, square holes. You're just saying
you're
random
bizzoing,
stuff
yeah,
pulled out of nowhere. Like when it's literally a conversation, you could be talking to him. It just rhymes. It was so direct. The way it was like they wrote together. Like that, all their angles were. Yeah. This was a brilliant battle. I really, really enjoyed this. I have bias because I know Rivers quite well. We have just recently started doing a Sunday show together as well. Nice. So my judging will come with some bias.
I mean, naturally. But even with that bias aside, this is a really, really good battle. And I love what Shotty said about the conversation because that is so true. And it does have this kind of just real, like, engaging, entrancing kind of narrative pull to it. And again, I'm going to be a nitpicker though. Raptor does say, I'm a Die Hard 2 and here to take a vengeance. Raptor, that was Die Hard 3 with a vengeance. But I mean, I know the bar doesn't work, so it's cool. I love that Raptor, my favourite thing about this battle is that Raptor calls back to that time he called Sherpa a nonce versus Crafty. I don't know if you saw that on Chalked Out. But it's quite an infamous moment, and I love Sherpa and, Raptor as well, but just the fact that he brings out, at the end when he's talking about all the hypocrisy and how he can't avoid being criticised, like, for him just to yank that out, be like, I called Sherpa a nonce, and I just thought that was wonderful. It really caught me off guard.
Yeah, no, I, the whole way through, there were so many bits where I was just like, "Are you fucking serious? Like, what are you saying right now?" I loved, Rivers had. Did I write notes for this? I don't even know if I wrote notes for this. I think I started writing my notes for this one, then I just started watching and didn't write any notes on it. What was that? He had a science school. He often has these sort of science schemes. Oh, was it I must have notes. Where is it? I need
But yeah, it's just, yeah, it is a great contest. This is what we've wanted for so long. And I really appreciated in the firsts that they were both painting themselves, or each other, as negative to Premier Battles, as in causing a lot of issues internally and externally. And kind of it was quite rich that they were, Rivers is like, you fucked over the company, Gojay, and Raptor's like, well, yeah, you were the arsehole who was just like getting shotty vexed and like they couldn't arrange a title shot. And it's like, all of this sort of playing out in this tight atmosphere just worked all the better for it. Raptor had great shit. Give the goal back like Great Depression. Management kicked off and he got the boot like David Beckham. And, we always hear River flips as well, which I love to hear because there's just so much you can do with the idea of Rivers and the whole, what is it? Rivers had a little rise, so he thought they could break the bank.
Yeah, and
Delicious.
what was the one going on like won't be water under the bridge or won't go under the bridge? Oh, what did he say? I
Yeah,
don't have my
yeah. There's
notes.
just, I mean, yeah, Rivers kind of started clowning on Briggsy actually in his first. And the Raptors bone paleontology line, I think, who said that? I think, did Shock say that maybe? I think I'd
I've
heard a kind of
definitely heard
a
it
very
before.
similar kind of thing on that. But I think my favourite lines of the battle are, from Rivers, like pull up and cook anywhere. I cater to different markets is unbelievable. Bragging about other people's views that someone else monetized or whatever he says there. Love Rivers. I know you're close to Rivers. Don't mean to call Rivers out here. Terrible bar at the end of Rivers' second.
Call him out. Call him out for that shit.
This bar I couldn't deal with. Maybe I'm missing it. I need to rewatch it. I've only watched this battle once. But the setup is, Jen, think breaking Jesus from captivity is the setup. And the punch is something like there's an accolade in breaking down barriers if that helps the profit rise. So it's a profit bar as well as, I mean, people in the chat correct me on that if I've quoted that slightly wrong, but that just sort of stuck out to me like almost as like an incredible bar because it's just like I don't even. This just okay. There's just so much to unbreak there, but I mean, Raptor just kind of the hypocrisy that we mentioned before going into the third. And it's great to them giving props throughout. The energy is awesome. The crowd are really into it. You can really hear them picking up volume there. Like I love this one. A lot of people calling this battle of the night.
I think it probably was because it was the most evenly matched fire clash. It was. I think it. I think the other two that we haven't talked about yet don't have the same. Like this is two intense, crazy rappers, and it was the magic of like how the angles just sort of meshed together. They both had the "you're a hypocrite and don't get called out for it. I can't do what you get away with." Like you said in the first, both shitting on Premier Battles, and it was just so. It was everything you kind of want in a battle. Could have been a bit cleaner, obviously, but other than that, it was such a war.
Yeah, no, it really was. It really was. It just just a sort of juggernaut fest. Like I urge people to go check this battle out. I think Premier Battles also allow people to sort of check out individual battles if they wish as well. And this would definitely be a pick for mine. So, it's still Premier Battles, still title matches going down. So we get into Mata versus Unan now. And, I mean, spoilers, people.
We've missed one.
Oh, we have? Was that the...
Yeah, Shocks and Soul. Wasn't that? Oh, no, was that the last one?
Shuffle and
That was
Soul.
it.
Was that the last one? Maybe it was, yeah. Maybe we've got that one wrong. But, in fact, just before we jump into that one then. Okay, we'll do it. Well, yeah, it makes
Shocks
sense.
and Soul. You see, I say dumb shit all the time.
Oh,
I'm glad
yeah, I
caught
mean,
that.
that already
Shuffle tea.
happened. But, yeah. They all look the same. So, in terms of the comments, Tim Riddle saying Rivers back on PB. He needs to get his title back. Joe Danny wished that the Rivers battle, cannon battle happened, which, yeah, so sad that didn't go down. Visceral says, Rivers didn't really go into the overused angles Raptor brought up in his third, which shows how original and smart he is with it. I'd edge the battle to Rivers, but both were brilliant. Rivers 2-1s getting said. People are just fucking waxing lyrical about this battle. So,
Can I just say one more thing about this battle? One of the things that I love most about this battle is it clearly meant a lot to both of them, and they had so much respect for each other that they wrote their little hearts out for each other. Like they clearly both wanted to come and do what they did. Like, and I love those fights where it means something, where there's some tension, where it's a bit and just had to say that.
Yeah, and we get now into the one, most people have been eagerly anticipating. Shuffle T versus Soul. What are your thoughts on this one?
Right, so I really like this as well. Both of them are absolute geniuses at what they do, and what they do is so different that I wasn't sure how it would work as a I wanted to see it, but I wasn't sure whether I was going to enjoy it, whether I was just going to watch sort of Soul's 3 rounds. That sounds really bad. I love what Shuffle does. I think he's amazing. It's not my preferred style.
It's interesting you say that, because this, in particular, this battle, he really does play with the form, doesn't he? There's a lot of props. There's a lot of the intro of rounds. It's like, oh, go on then, mate. Like, it's all that sort of ironic thing that he's always done. But I think the phone stuff, especially, where he has basically a phone that plays messages to him that he interacts with, which is really funny. But it's like comparing it to what Soul does, and that more kind of predatory kind of ambush. One of the reasons I love Battle Rap, UK Battle Rap especially, is you can have comedy versus bars, and no one blinks an eye. But I can see what you're saying about his kind of taste, and he does embellish that, doesn't he? Whereas I think Soul is just on his game here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right in it's. So I think some of the Shuffle stuff it's so entertaining that it's not battle for me, and it's genius. Like, even all right, there's no crowd, how do I play to that? How do I play to no crowd reaction? What can I do in my style? Like, and it's so authentic. That I love about Shuffle. Like, it's like there's almost like what he does is so complex.
The timing as well.
It sound
like the confidence.
It's nursery rhymes almost.
Yeah. He's wonderful in this, and it's great that Soul doesn't really try to meet him on his own terms. It's not that Soul isn't a hilarious battler, and we've seen in certain battles, like when he's battling Danger and Chiller and stuff like that, like he can get into that comedy bag, definitely versus Real Deal as well. The whole Dot Mob sequence, but here he's just that that kind of that just furious Soul, really. And I love that he gives no quarter with Shuffle. The whole, how can we have a judge battle? He won't allow himself to be judged, and he's just so practiced, really. What is it? The guy that brought the guy that broke the fourth wall, or the guy that built the other three? I mean, Christ, that's vintage Soul. That's just him all over, like.
So brilliant.
Yeah.
So brilliant.
I mean, just oh man.
And like the different flows, and like the rapid fire, like it's so intense, like that I can't. It's like, to me, it's clear, it's such a clear win in my mind, just because to me it's like it is a battle, and Shuffle was almost whimsical, and Soul is there just barking at him. Like he said, the theme of this battle is that you never said an ironic bar in your life, and just kind of attacked him then for the next 3 rounds, and really
just put the nail in. Definitely
tactically. It was like a targeted attack on him and everything about him.
It really was he was just he touches on a lot of the big Shuffle angles, the obvious angles, but digs into them in such different ways. The whole Ricky Gervais stuff. And he tying it, they don't make death notes of Wernham Hog is fucking outstanding. He references Resident Evil, the Triple S stuff. Washed Up 2012, internet famous, so Soul had, took the killer crop from that era as well. Make the cut after Shuffle, I can't deal with it, and the way he says deal with it is fantastic. I mean, that's, let's not get twisted here. Shuffle's great. talking about how, Soul has never, gets pissed off with positive feedback and stuff, and the applause bothering him, and But the problem with Shuffle is, and I say this as a giant Shuffle fan, like I think the guy, along with Soul, is a legit genius in our midst, and his work I'm going to enjoy for the rest of my life. Like I just think as a writer, he's just out of this world. But it's like he's so practiced at this multi-form. He's of course got his dictionary out there. Go get that as a late Christmas present. That sometimes it feels like he's almost like a trail on tracks when he's just on this kind of multi-stream. You know what I mean? And the punchlines are kind of coming at quite a melodic frosty, but they're a little bit I don't know. They're a little bit softer than kind of what Soul goes down. And he's a presidential houses and pictures drum, and he's and what is it? Open water swimming with a megalodon. Soul is on, and it's kind of, I don't know. Sometimes I'm still listening because I idolize Shuffle, but sometimes it feels a little bit autopilot. I don't know.
A bit formulaic. You just sort of, well, maybe it's like I said, that nursery rhyme quality. It's such complex stuff, but it's because of how it's delivered and who the character, or not the character, but the sort of persona that he has, it makes it a little nursery rhyme-ish. It makes it sort of more entertainment than attack. So you're sort of, it's a bit bland in terms of listening to a battle sometimes. And well, I guess, when you've got the fire that Soul is spitting, because I don't want to shit on Shuffle T at all. Like, I love what he does and he is brilliant. Like, the man's a genius. But I think when you've got the fire, when you've got such ferocity from Soul, it just, for me, it's clear.
It is, and Soul just goes through so many different angles. Marla gets brought up in the second, and he speaks. He did this against C Major as well, and it's such a cool angle, and it pulls off brilliant here as well. Because against C Major, it was more like I paved the way for detailed writing and kind of more ornate way of putting together raps and stuff like that in the battle scene. And here it's more about the multi stuff. That's part and parcel of that. But him it's so the Soul imagery. He talks about being the Higgs boson of Shuffle, and it's kind of Icarus image and the wax dripping in the ocean and stuff like that. And it's just and the idea of him needing to tweet and need a battle, needs to be told he's winning, but in a battle, like, he needs to be sort of like abused, and it's kind of, he has to reevaluate his whole existence. Really, really terrific stuff. And Shuffle's more like, when he looks at the camera at the start of his next round, he's like, let's do this thing. And I like that, and I totally know what direction he's going in for that, and that kind of wry approach. But it's just it's like a candle in front of the sun with Soul. Like, I love the fact that it's a style clash, don't get me wrong, but I just think this is just amazing Soul performance. Shuffle's really good, but I think this is just some of the best, like, old school Soul we've got. It's just mega focused. Like, he's got a lot to talk about with Shuffle.
Yeah, no, and like you say, so many angles, and not like he sort of, it was just so targeted. It wasn't all over the place. It really just was sort of stripping him bare. And again, it had that quality. And I think he has a bar in there, something like I wrote my rounds for you and they all rhymed accidentally.
Yeah, no, everything I hate about you and it rhymed accidentally. Yeah,
that's
Jesus.
it. Like, and it was just a brilliant performance. And like I say, when I watch this back, I probably will skip. No disrespect, I shouldn't even say that.
No, look,
I don't know why I say things. It's not necessary to say that. I could have just shut my mouth and ended on a high.
Look, no. No, we're honest over here, definitely, and I appreciate that, and I totally have that as well. And I just think for any soul heads out there, like myself, check this battle out. I just think he is unbelievable. And Shuffle's really good as well. Shuffle's very funny, and it's kind of hard for us to really explain the phone thing. I don't really want to spoil it, but it is a riot, and it's kind of, it goes in a little direction that you totally know kind of how it's going to end. But Shuffle, again, just the timing, just as his kind of expert comic ability shines through. So just before we get to the final battle, which is going to be Matter versus Unan, let's see what the comments are saying here. Quite a few are coming through. Shout out to everyone listening. Press One saying Happy River's getting his dues. Troy saying Yo Tom and Jennn. People are talking about Rivers battles in the future versus Pass versus Scoop. Versus Beretta Broke from No Coast England. Can't say I've heard of that guy. New England. Joe Downey says, more style clashes, the better. Provides way more interesting debates, especially with Shuffle and Soul and Unan Matter. Need more of these in the future. The phone stuff was genius. People are agreeing. We need another Shufflo battle, people are saying as well. So they... let's talk about Matter versus Unan, which again... As Joe just said in the comments, like, you know, this was a classic style clash. I mean, where did you fall? Was it the kind of ironic, sarcastic mockery of Matter or the hammer blow of Unan?
Well, I think given everything I've said so far, it's
Sure.
I went for the hammer. I went for the hammer blow. Sure. I really like from the start, Unan just kind of looked a bit deranged almost. Like he just looked like he was unhinged. Like he had a sort of a crazy, like, I'm not even here for your shit look in your eye. I'm just going to come here, deliver my 3 rounds, unload on you, and that's it. Like I liked Matter. I like, again, you know, it's when you're funny and entertaining and you're up against someone who is so ferocious and so much energy, and again is quite, you know, direct in attacking you. It's hard to beat that in my mind. It's like funny ha versus I'm going to stab you in the neck. And but what was the, oh my god, the I have to go to my notes. I've definitely got this note. What is it?
What is it? The pregnancy one.
Yeah, that's it.
That is probably the bar of the battle. Yeah.
What the.
He said, like, I'll cut open your mom's your mom's cesarean scar and shove up inside what's left of you or some shit like that.
That's it, yeah. Stuff what's left of you back inside her.
That's that Unan shit. And, like, his second, holy fuck, I mean, the whole battle, you're right, he's in Berserker mode. His second is just this breathless fucking 3-minute torrent, which includes that bar, which goes everywhere, which doesn't stop. And I don't know, like, I know Matter's humour is based on how cringy his opponents are. He talks like the typical Unan fan and stuff like that. But I find that sort of appeal a little leaden. It doesn't really work for me. Like, I want to see a little bit more of a... You know, I guess I am the archetypal Unan fan that he speaks about, the uncool one. But I just prefer the more dynamic, kind of theatrical, bombastic nature of Unan. Not to say that Matter doesn't have good stuff. You know, he speaks about, what do you say? It's like a testament to the British manners that Unan hasn't been beaten up loads or something like that, which I really liked. I
love the signature move, inbox apology thing.
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. If you battle Unan, you got to talk about his online personas, like, of course you do. But I thought this was, you know, Unan was sort of barking the score throughout, 1-0, 2-0, etc. I thought this was a free zip, and, you know, I mean, obviously it was. He was gifted the championship.
Yeah, no, I had it 3-zip as well. I think Unan was he was never going to lose. He didn't, you know, he that mental health stuff, was it in the third? That whole angle, was that the third? That was the third. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you preach about mental health, but then you tell people families have died or something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought. Well, he was. What was it saying? You know, you're attacking me with mental. Well, people. You know, you're attacking me with mental health stuff, and you know, your wife has got problems of her own. I thought that. I liked that stuff. But the second. I've watched this twice, and both times at the end of the second, I thought it was the third. Like, there was just so much in there. Like, my mind just obviously took me, you know, okay, this is the end of the battle now. And I guess it was a more third round.
It was actually, yeah, it was.
Second.
You're right. It was interesting that you put it there.
I love that Dr. Manhattan, Big Bang, turn matter into atoms, that thing in there. I liked.
Yeah. Does he say, like, I said something like, just evaporate everything, leave just a ring of matter or something like that?
Yeah, ring of matter. Yeah. What do you say? Ring of matter that remained after the talent pool evaporated.
I mean, it's like Unan in the third. He opens weird. He opens by talking about some Champions League final. and he's like, there's water on the pitch, it was United Madrid or something like that, and it's all like just some matter goes off in a stretcher bar or something, which, again, it was a bit weird that he went in that direction, but he does also mention Dead Man's Shoes and Rembrandt's Moves or something like that in there, and I mean, shout out Paddy Constantine, that's a fantastic movie, and he sort of pokes his palm as well, as he does in the film, but yeah, I mean, salute to Unan. I've got to say that, as I always do. I mean, I love Unan through and through, but I'm glad to see him win this.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. Clear win for me, and yeah, looking forward to see what's next. But a crazy event.
Mm-hmm.
Really was surprised by how good it was. Not to say that sounds bad, not surprised by how good it was, but just we're in the middle of a pandemic, you know. It's been so hard for
it was so good to see it
put on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
no.
And it really had an atmosphere that I was sitting here by myself, couple of what was I drinking? Pink gin. And like the atmosphere was definitely coming through the screen. And I think because, you know, the timeline on Twitter was lit up, like it really did have a great atmosphere, like, and for them to be able to do that in the current climate, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, I love the fact they did the whole stream thing as well. So, guys, go and check out these battles. Hopefully, we haven't spoiled them too hard for you. And they're seriously all worth a watch. I think all of Sol's rounds, Unan second especially. You know, Celeste really did well. Like, you know, and it's not to say that anyone, you know, really disgrace themselves, but you know, there's quite a lot of good battles here. Let's just look at the comments finally. Tem Riddle says Matt hasn't teamed with Luna in 8 years. That angle seemed pointless. I mean, if you battle Matt, you got to mention Luna at least a little bit. Like, you know, we all think of the Saurus bar and stuff like that, like you live in Luna's shadow or whatever he said, but I don't know, I think it's just one of those things. It's like Unan's mom, it's like you got to just go there a little bit.
Yeah, and I like that material that you had, that whole lunar scheme. I thought that was cool, that stuff. Mm-hmm. But then you know, it might all be very reused, or not reused, but tired, and I just haven't heard it lots of times. But I thought it was dope.
Yeah, Wiretap saying Matt seemed like he didn't even want the belt. I mean, that was the problem, didn't it? Matt never, even when he was champ, he just kind of, you know, he's just Matt. Like, he was just happy to, you know, take the next battle or whatever. But nothing really stuck too much from me. But yeah, he didn't disgrace himself. And Unan is the new champ. People saying in the chat who they would like to see. Oh, I would love to see Unan versus Danny Myers. I would die a happy man if I could see that live. I think that would be an incredible battle.
I don't know. I could take the energy.
Oh my god!
I have to have my Weetabix for breakfast.
Yeah. Oh my god! Like, Danny is legit one of my all-time favorite battle rappers. Like,
yeah, he's amazing.
I just think just the creativity and the energy and just I still go back to the Chiller battle. I think his second and third versus Chiller Jones are some of my favourite rounds ever. If you haven't seen that battle on RBE, check it out. But yeah, I went down a little Danny Mars rabbit hole there, as we always do. So yeah, that was Premier Battles. That was Apex 2. We'll put the links down there for the pay-per-view, so go support. It's £20, and you get to watch all the battles we spoke about today, and also Shocks vs. Quill is going on there. So I might do a little kind of review of that little solo thing and put that on the channel soon as well. So if you enjoy the show and you want to give back to the show, this will go on the Patreon first. You can support us on the Patreon, patreon.com/BattleRapResume. You get access to an RSS feed there where I upload all the episodes. You download it straight to your phone. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, leave a review. Twitter at BattleRapResume, BattleResume@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with the show, maybe want to do something for an episode. And Jen, your socials fine. I mean, we mentioned them before, but London Jen with 3 N's, right?
Yep, 3 N's on the Jen, all one word, everywhere.
All right, sweet. Put the links down below. Shout out to Premier Battle, shout out to all the battlers involved. Really, for so many fantastic performances. Really, really fun to discuss this as well, Jen. I'm happy that we finally got to this episode.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, it really has. It's been great. And shout out to everyone who was listening on the live as well. We'll be back in the future for more Battle Rap Resume content. I'll hopefully release something before the end of the year as well. But yeah, Jen, finally, thanks again.
Thanks, Tom.